by MMOByte. It's Volzerk. I have not heard anything whatsoever on this. I don't know if it's an MMO, just a regular game, but it's most likely anime adjacent for MMOByte to be talking about it, so let's take a look.
I love anime games.
Okay, let's try that again.
I love anime games. I'm not gonna deny that. Whenever I see a new
Exactly
anime
what I
get
said.
announced, whether it's an anime gacha game, an anime MMO, an anime RPG, I am immediately excited for it. I love creature collection games like Pokemon, like Digimon, like Temtem.
A lot of people like those kind of games. I don't like the gacha ones though, the ones that you have to pay to get them, pretty much.
So when I hear that they are making
Like, imagine if you had to pay for Pokeballs. Like, who the hell would want that?
an anime creature collection game and it is releasing on Steam this month, you best bet my excitement
Anime
levels are
creature
off the
collection
charts. Before we jump into this video though, I do want to take a moment here to thank all of our incredible patrons over on Patreon. Your support is absolutely incredible, and I cannot thank you all enough for being a part of this journey. Also, if you have a moment, consider following me over on Twitch. I stream gacha games here every weekend. This right here is Volzerk Monsters and Lands Unknown.
Okay, let's see here. No release date. Just coming soon. English language not supported. That's not good. Monster breeding and action RPG. Explore the world and raise legendary monsters.
I know what you're
Okay.
thinking. You're looking at the name and you're thinking to yourself, who on earth approved this name? What were they thinking? And why are they allowed to name anything? What was going through their mind when the concept for this name was originally conceived? And who approved it? Now, Volzerk, regardless of what I think of the game's name, actually looks pretty cool from the images I've seen thus far. This
Almost reminds me of like PS3 JRPG.
It's a little bit vague in terms of the kind of game it is. Judging from the images, I do not think it is a completely...
Kind of like, I think they're going with the whole like Monster Hunter. They had their own little game where you would catch monsters and raise them. I'm thinking it's something similar.
Open world game. It is a creature collection game where you collect, you tame, train, level, evolve, breed monsters.
Oh, you can actually
together
like
to create some kind of
fight out in the open world with them.
It looks like the areas are...
I don't know how that's gonna work. To get animations for each and every one of them.
Very large, very open, but I don't think it is a complete sandbox world akin to something like Genshin Impact or maybe Tower of Fantasy. This game is releasing onto Steam, and they do actually have a trailer that I am curious of. Now, I will note that it does say that English is not supported right now, but they did confirm English is coming, and I will touch on that after we take a look at this trailer.
It's not too big of a deal as long as there's subtitles, I think. A lot of people who would play this kind of game are probably used to subtitles, so...
Hold on.
Doesn't look bad.
Before we go any further...
Gives me like an anime Monster Hunter vibe.
I just want to know. At the top right of the screen... I don't know if you can see this. Let me disable my cam for a minute here. At the top right of the screen, we have 3 characters. The brown-haired girl, I'm assuming, is the main character. Pink hair.
That is interesting, because Genshin has a similar thing, but it makes sense with Genshin, because the characters are basically your Pokemon that you're swapping out.
Girl, blonde-haired girl. It looks like each one has their own roles. Sword, axe, staff. It looks like there are 2, like, Pokemon-esque monsters. There's an HP bar, an MP or a TP bar. The monsters themselves have levels. It looks like you could swap between which character you're playing as, I think, because at the same time, it looks like there are 3 other characters here. Completely.
It could be similar to Genshin in that you can get, characters unlocked. And it could be that those characters do have like specific buffs that may complement, certain monsters more.
Completely different characters.
I was going to say Pokemon.
We have male characters, we have female characters, completely different monsters as well. Different HP, different level pools. I don't know if that means
Well, what do you, I don't see their HP, but I do see their
It's
levels.
then that you recruit these characters, and then you can play as them if these characters have different abilities, or if these are actually other people that are playing the game with you. And you can see at the top left, there's actually a mini map that showcases a variety of different monsters.
That's a poorly done mini map. Like it's just red blotches
that are in the immediate area. The areas look pretty large. There are bosses, dungeons.
What I like is it doesn't look turn-based. Like it actually looks like action, like an action RPG.
It's like
I could be wrong though.
They're taming them. You can also ride the monsters, which is really cool.
Yeah, this doesn't look bad so far.
Okay, admittedly, I really wish there was more than a 30-second teaser for this, but we got to see quite a bit. We got to see them taming. We got to see examples of the worlds, the environments, the special abilities, the breeding. We got to see dungeons. We got to see elite monsters out in the world. So much was covered in that 30 seconds. So it goes on to say, monster breeding in action RPG. Explore the world and raise legendary monsters. Volzerk, Monsters in Lands Unknown, the cross-breeding action RPG. Join the protagonist, Fina, on an adventure to discover legendary monsters. Raise monsters, join a colorful cast of friends, and face off against powerful enemies. I wonder how many characters there are going to be. I wonder how you go about obtaining these characters. Are they going to be recruitable, or is there going to be... I know gacha, it is a very prevalent feature in video games these days. I'm hoping you don't recruit these characters via gacha mechanics, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure this is a Japanese game, and Japan is obsessed with gacha almost more than any other Asian country, so it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. The island of Fort
I wonder how he even found this game.
Lemuria. Discovered in a vast ocean, this island's rich landscape was dotted with countless mysterious ruins and inhabited by strange animals known as monsters. This game's name is Volzerk. And the creatures, the monsters you find out in the world, they are called monsters. Not Pokemon, not Temtem, not Digimon, not pals from like Pal World. No, these are just monsters. I'm genuinely hoping that the game itself is not inhibited and restricted by the same level of creativity as has been displayed in the naming process of pretty much everything. Humankind agreed to organize a research commission in order to investigate the island and the monsters that live there.
Yeah, I think they really messed up with this. One, the name is just... It sounds way more serious than what it is, and I just noticed I had this. Anyways, Volzerk, like it doesn't really sound right for this kind of game, especially like the aesthetics and stuff. And I don't really have a problem with them just calling them monsters, though I think advertisement-wise, it would have made more sense if they had like a cute name to them. You know what I mean? I don't know if cute's the right word, but it's like a unique name. So, I mean, other than that though, like I thought the gameplay looked like decent, better than some of the other trailers we've seen.
Then one day, the island guardian Volzerk clashed with the legendary beast known as Magna, and both were apparently destroyed. So this kind of reminds me of the plot of like a Pokemon game, where there are two legendary Pokemon, they clash, both Pokemon disappear, you go on an adventure, and then, I don't know, you meet the...
I mean, that's not always the Pokemon theme, to be fair. It's just Pokemon has so many of them by now that how would you think of something that Pokemon hasn't done?
The legendary Pokemon, you catch the legendary Pokemon, and I mean, it all just works out in the end. 10 years have passed since that day. Without the protection of Volzerk, the monsters of the island are in danger of extinction. Hold on, wait.
So Volzerk is the name of like the big, like basically like the guardian of the monster world, I guess.
So they're in danger of extinction. Can anyone run by me how this is a bad thing? We literally saw monsters out in the world attacking us. These monsters are aggressive. They are not docile. They are not passive.
It's the same with real life. Like, what are you talking about? Like, if tigers go extinct, bears, wolves, most animals will attack, like especially predator animals, larger ones will attack humans. That doesn't mean we want them all extinct.
These monsters, they see us and they actively attack us. How is it a negative thing to have them go extinct and not have to worry about them potentially raiding your town, about the dangers of just going out?
Well, you haven't seen enough to know if they actually attack towns. So it's more like, especially since like this Volzerk and the legendary beast known as Magna, like if they were out to just kill as many humans as possible, I think the game would have mentioned it, like entire towns being wiped out, but
outside your home, flying monsters swooping in through your windows, grabbing you, eating, mauling you to death. This all sounds terrible to me. However, a young girl is about to join the research commission. Her name is Fina, and she's the
that was just weird. He like went on his own fanfic that had absolutely nothing to do with what they've shown so far.
only human alive who witnessed Volzerk's disappearance. With her obsessive love of monsters, Fina's sole goal in life is to get as close to them as she can. And deep within her heart burns the desire to once again be reunited with Volzerk. Wait, so she wants to, so that...
I'm guessing, yeah, that's like she's friends with the most powerful monster?
That would lead us to believe that she was at some point connected to Volzerk. Volzerk, what is Volzerk? The Guardian, right? So she's like a shrine maiden, a guardian maiden?
It doesn't even say why they clashed. It just says this island guardian Volzerk clashed with the legendary beast known as Magna. It was like, is Magna a bad person? Like, why did they fight?
Volzerk Monsters and Lands Unknown is an original action RPG that brings characters and monsters together for epic battles. Mix and match monsters.
You can even crossbreed your monsters with those of your friends? That's weird.
With different riders to master different skills. Make use of different weapon types and switch out characters at the right time to bring down powerful foes. So, what this... Oh my god, the amount of times I have hit spacebar with my elbow. So, it looks as though each character that you recruit is going to have a different...
One thing that worries me is it says this app is free to play and there's in-app purchases. I don't care about that second part, but the first one, like it being free to play, is raising red flags for games like this, because it's like, oh man, this is basically going to be a slot machines for Pokemon.
Different selection of skills that have a direct effect on the monsters in question. I don't know how they are going to relate to one another, whether you have like a person that has maybe increased fire damage for fire type monsters, maybe one
that's
has
what I was
increased
figuring.
healing for support type monsters, but it looks like you're going to be required to swap out characters to make use of different monster abilities, and admittedly that actually does add layers of depth to the game, unless of course the characters are once again only recruitable through gacha, in which case the meta is going to be probably gated behind a very, very expensive paywall. Immersive.
Yeah, they're probably gonna have like S tier monsters and S tier like characters. So it's, I don't know, like I was a bit like looking forward to this, but immediately I'm just like, no, maybe not. Like, I seriously doubt. I don't know. It's probably gonna be like Genshin, but like way, way, way worse. Because Genshin you can at least play, and you know you don't have to pay for anything if you really don't want to. You can beat the game perfectly fine as a free-to-play player. But I just have a feeling that's not going to be the case here, but who knows.
Yourself deep in a monster breeding system. Different characters can impart different abilities to monsters, allowing players to raise the monsters of their choosing. Crossbreed two monsters to give birth to a whole new monster, which will inherit its parents' abilities. Raise monsters to fit your own personal playstyle and take down the powerful enemies that stand in your way. You can even crossbreed your monsters with those of your friend. Two things to note here. One, if you have two different monsters and you breed the two of them together, the collective abilities will be imparted onto your new monster. So your new monster, which originally had one ability, will now have two abilities.
I don't think that's what they're talking about. I mean, it's probably going to be like Pokemon in that you have a set amount of ability slots. And when you breed two of them, like you can choose between, you know, basically, let's say each one has 5. So when you're breeding them and each of the parents have 5 each, you now have 10 options to, pick from. But you're still only left with 5 for your monster. Because it doesn't make sense what MMOByte Sticks is trying to say here, in that it's just a forced multiplier. Because at that point, it's like you would just want to breed like crazy until you had like some super monster that had every ability, which just wouldn't make sense.
From both the parents. So say this new monster with now 2 abilities is bred with another monster with 1 ability. The new baby will have 3 abilities, and you keep doing this. You can breed multiple together and end up having 6 abilities, 12 abilities, 24 abilities, 48 abilities, and so on until you have this incredible being of unrivaled power. Because admittedly, that kind of sounds
it's stupid.
Pretty fun to me. It's like one of the Egyptian gods.
It'd be fine if it was a single player game, and even then I still think that would really be bad design.
Odd cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Number 2, you can crossbreed your monsters with those of your friends. So there's going to be multiplayer functionality present here.
Well, yeah, it's a free-to-play game.
To what extent, to what degree is the multiplayer going to be present? Are the friends going to be capable of running around the world with you? Are you going to see them out in the world? Are you going to be able to play cooperatively with them, join a group, engage in battles? Are you going to be able to engage them in some type of player versus player combat? What is the extent of the multiplayer?
I like how, I don't know if you guys noticed, but music is just Yoko Kanno, just one person, and then you have the voice actors, and it's like a freaking paragraph, etc. They couldn't even get all of them on there.
This is something that has not been elaborated on or expressed really outside of the fact that you can trade with them, or not even trade, crossbreed with them. Now, the game is launching at the end of January, this month, this year. Unfortunately,
where does it say that?
Once again, this game is launching in Japanese first, but they did confirm they were going to be releasing an English patch in a later update. Now, this is a little bit disconcerting because this is not going to be a large-scale localization project. Rather, it is going to be a patch that they apply to the game. Now, that isn't to say the patch won't be a quality patch, but the fact that they're not employing a team specifically dedicated to localizing the game leaves me a little bit concerned. Asian games, MMOs, gacha games aren't really known for their accurate localizations, their accurate translations. So if a Japanese company with mostly non-English speakers attempt to apply a patch, an English patch specifically, a patch with a language that they don't natively speak, and we expect that to be a high quality patch, we're very likely going to be left sorely disappointed. But that is just speculation that has been unconfirmed. They might hire a localization studio to localize the game into English if the game is a success. I genuinely think this game has the potential to be a lot of fun. I am totally going to download and play this on Steam when it launches. I know I'm not gonna understand anything, but this is gonna be too good of an opportunity to really pass up. I just really wish they...
I didn't realize I was muted. I don't know how long I've been muted for, but it's whatever. Basically, what I was saying is this actually, I agree with them. It is going to be worth playing at the very least. And if it's like Genshin, where, maybe you can play around the paid mechanics, it's still going to be a really fun game.
Wouldn't have went for the name Volzerk. This could be the Pokemon MMO, and if not MMO, multiplayer
seriously doubt
game that we have been waiting a long.
I think we should have heard a lot more if the developers were more confident in their game. But since MMOByte is the only dude I've seen talk about this, and you think it would be, the name is just awful, but you would think there'd be a lot more hype about it if that was the case.
Long time for this. Looks like it has a lot more violence. It looks like it has more depth, greater looking characters, and more functionality, mechanics that are just not present in the Pokemon games that really should be. I think this could deliver us an experience above what the newest Pokemon games, especially Scarlet and I don't even remember the other one, ultimately offered us. Now, if Volzerk...
Yeah. No, I mean, I do agree. Like, Pokemon's kind of dropped the ball with their games lately, but it still has the Pokemon brand. But let's see. I do think the name is stupid. Like, Volzerk. Like, I just have, like, a feeling they should have named it, like, something else and then put Volzerk as, like, the after part of it. Like, Pokemon Sword and Shield. This should have been, you know, whatever the main name is, and then something about Volzerk. Like, maybe just Volzerk. But yeah, it does look interesting, and I will be checking it out when it comes out. Hopefully sooner than later, but I mean, it's January, but who knows if it's going to be pushed back, so...